All of you who don't know me, my name is Tess, and I am on the board, and Tom has asked me to come up here and do the announcements this morning. So just a couple of quick things. Welcome, and thank you for being here. And on the announcements, there's lots of stuff going on, but remember to save the date. Saturday, March 21st is the practitioners' annual Italian dinner, and that's going to feature lasagna this year, so please save the date. And I'm going to have Dave come up, and then Kay, and then they've got some announcements of some other stuff coming on up, so come on up, Dave.
Well, I just want you to save the date for February 15th. That's the day we're going to have our spiritual mind treatment workshop. And in this workshop, you'll be actually writing treatments and getting used to them, because you don't get proficient in doing spiritual mind treatment unless you practice it. So this is what this class is all about. It's a love offering basis, and everyone is welcome to attend, but I would appreciate it if you tend to come, you sign up out it's out there in the alcove, I guess, called. But please, thank you.
Well, good morning again, everybody. My name is Grace, and I'm the practitioner on duty today. And as you know, the purpose of the practitioners is to teach classes and to pray. So we're going to begin. Okay, did you want to make an announcement? Sorry. Well, come on up. We can start over again.
I've been working on patience, so I was going to be patient. I'm part of the Love and Light Circle. We are those people who greet you in the morning when you come in, and we also light the candles. We invite all of you, whether or not you come to our circle, to participate in those activities. We need greeters especially. I know you have to get up a little earlier, but it's a wonderful way to participate in this wonderful place. We meet as a group on the first Monday of every month at 1:30 here in Sibley Hall. We're starting a new emphasis, and we noticed in our work in the last year that we seem to be growing older each day. And I see some of you who may be doing the same thing. We are inviting you to join us, because we're going to be working from this book called From Aging to Saging. From Aging to Saging. I have been looking for wisdom all my life, and I think there's probably some of it in here. So we invite you the first Monday in March to join us at 1:30. And on a sadder note, I lost a very dear friend, 59 years old, who died suddenly. And I'm sad, and I'm also glad to know that I told him frequently how much I appreciated him. And I want to remind us all about appreciation. And in that vein, I want to thank Dr. Ken Kasner, who introduced me to this place. It's changed my life. And I know it's changing yours too.
Thank you, Kay. So let us take a moment to invoke. To invoke meaning to call forth the Spirit, the Divine Spirit that is always with us, in us, and as us. And I state and claim at this moment that all is well and all that we need to hear is revealed to us today in the service. And I give thanks to all the people that are presently here in the sanctuary, serving in some capacity, or coming to listen to the message. And I say, at this moment, thank you. And so it is.
God. Good morning, everybody. It is my absolute joy and honor to minister to you today. My name is Reverend Kathleen Sibley. I am both the minister and one of the practitioners here at the Center for Spiritual Living. What I want you to know is that whatever judgments you've had on yourself, however you have thought of yourself in the past, this morning you are entirely welcome here just as you are and just as you are not. Because what we know is that we're all here by divine appointment. And the center exists to provide spiritual tools that transform our personal lives and make the world a better place. We do that in many different ways. We have classes that are absolutely wonderful. We have practitioners who will pray for and with you. So if there's anything in your experience right now that is getting between you and being happy, I invite you to turn in a prayer request. It's the purple form tucked into the back of each seat. If you are watching this online, please know that you can also go to our website, which is www.cslprescott.org, and put in a prayer request that way. You can come here to the front row after services, and a practitioner will meet with you and do what we call a 3-minute miracle. It is a short, it's a opportunity, it's a something or other. It's this thing we do, okay? And it's cool and it works. Sorry, you got a little distracted right there. So it is our version of prayer. It's called spiritual mind treatment. The people taking foundations learned a lot about it yesterday in our Saturday seminar, and it was wonderful. You have the opportunity to learn how to do it yourself next Saturday. It's just a really powerful tool. But if you want to know what all the fuss is about, come sit down here, think of something. There's got to be something in your life that could be better, right? You know, something. As awesome as it is, you want to dare God to make it better. Anyway, so you can do that. You can also have a session. The practitioners here are licensed professional practitioners. And if there is something that is just not working in your life, sitting down with a practitioner for about an hour is a great way to get past it and move on to your joy. So you can catch up with them either by looking out at the board that's out by the kitchen, and their names and faces and telephone numbers are out there, or you can go to the website. Their telephone numbers and contact information are on that as well. There are lots of great ways to learn these spiritual tools because you have to be the one who uses them, right? It's not like somebody else can do it for you. So, great spiritual tools available to all of us. And we draw from many different faiths to get those tools. And so I'm going to ask our candlelighters to come up as we acknowledge those upon whom we lean. The Center for Spiritual Living honors all faith traditions. As we light a candle for the world's religions, it is to acknowledge both our multiplicity and our unity.
We light a candle for Christianity, based on the teachings of Jesus the Christ, who taught the path of love, forgiveness, and healing by the presence within.
For Islam, the practice of submitting to the will of God as revealed through his prophets, peace be upon them, who taught that there is one God, creator of the heavens and the earth.
For Judaism, a community of shared laws, traditions, and family ties which began with a covenant between Abraham and God.
For Buddhism, the middle path that ends suffering and awakens mindfulness and compassion.
For Hinduism, the path of knowledge, action, and devotion.
For the Native American traditions, those who walk the Good Red Road, including the people of the sun, those who lived on this land before us, that we know as the Yavapai.
For Baha'i, the path of unity and peace.
For all of the goddess traditions, embracing the divine feminine as maiden, mother, and crone.
And for the science of mind, which is the philosophy of life that teaches there is a power for good in the universe, and we can use it.
Beautiful, thank you. Now we get to take hold of all of that beautiful energy and make it and use it ourselves. And we do that by using one of our affirmations. We are here for God. This is to express the nature of God as love, abundance, and joy in everything we do. The good we seek for ourselves is what we desire for all people everywhere. And so it is.
So in that silence, that is where we find God, where we find ourselves. And as we reflect upon the words of this song, there is so much truth to it. I have heard say that if we just concentrate on the space between the words, that's where we find our greatest joy. So I'm letting you think about that as we go into a brief meditation, concentrating just on that space where there are no words, just total peace, total love, and total joy. And thank you very much for being here today.
And in the interest of honesty and integrity, what I want to let you know is the original name for this talk was The Body is Not an Apology. And we found out that we accidentally broke a trademark. So The Body is Not an Apology, The Power of Radical Self-Love by Sonia Renee Taylor. Sonia sent us a very gentle, excuse me. And so the centers said, okay, our bodies are not apologies. And I said, you know what? This body is not an apology. So there. We'll get a little bit more specific. So when we speak of the body, we're not just speaking of, arms and legs and heads and hair and everything else. We're talking about the body of our affairs. So when we speak of the body, we're talking about all of our relationships. We're talking about our finances. We're talking about our physical world and everything in it. Because when we talk about this, this is the body of God. So there is the mind of God, and then there is the universe in which the spirit of life itself is incarnate, in which the energy of life lives and moves. We all remember from third grade science that, there's these things called atoms, and the electron part is little bits of energy, really, that pop into and out of existence. At least according to quantum physics, they pop into and out of existence. We don't know where they go. I have this image of a little electron Disney World where they go on vacation. But it's probably some kind of a parallel universe or some other sci-fi sounding really cool thing. But that energy, the energy of life itself, whether we can see it with our naked eye or not, that takes form as matter. That matter is the body of God. And so it occurs to me that if this body, this life, this world, this community is not an apology, it's really important, first of all, to figure out what an apology is. And so I did my happy little go-to-dictionary.com. And it says an apology is a regretful acknowledgement of an offense or failure. It is also a very poor or inadequate example of. Are you kidding me? Duh, we're not an apology. We're not that, right? And yet in most of the major religious traditions, in most of the faith philosophies that I have found, there's this thing about there's God and all the wonderfulness of it, and then there's us. There's heaven, and then there's this mortal coil. As if somehow being here at the physical level represents a failure or an inadequacy on our part to deserve to live in heaven. For those who are just wanting to be caught up, that is so not what we teach here. This body is so not an apology. This body is absolutely a part of God. And it seems to me that that whole idea of, you have to reincarnate, you have to come to, in Buddhism, you have to come, and Hinduism, you have to come down here millions and millions of times and live as snails and live as happy people and live as women and live as men and live as dogs and live as a plant or a tree or whatever, and eventually you might get into nirvana. But man, you gotta rack up some life credit scores, right? In our philosophy in the early days, there was a big conversation about what is real. Is matter real or is it just spirit? So if you think we got away with not making that dichotomy, you are incorrect. Not bad, just incorrect in this instance. In Christian Science, there's a book by Mary Baker Eddy called Christian Science, something with a key to the scriptures. And the question is, what is the scientific statement of being? And the answer is, man, I feel so much like a Catholic girl again, doing the Baltimore Catechism. What is God? What is love? There is no life, truth, intelligence, nor substance in matter. All is infinite mind and its infinite manifestation, for God is all in all. Spirit is immortal truth. Matter is mortal error. We used to teach this stuff. And I almost said the word different other than stuff, frankly. In a book by H.B. Jeffrey called The Principles of Healing, which we still use in our practitioner training. And just for those of you who don't know who H.B. Jeffrey is or was, he was one of those people who might have taught Ernest Holmes. He was in that generation. He worked with, or is kind of at the same time as Emma Curtis Hopkins, for those of you who are history buffs. He wrote, I may as well use the glasses, I've got them. The more far-seeing of our modern scientists are saying that our universe is a spiritual universe and that there is no such thing as matter. Seems pretty real to me. If we are going to make matter wrong, if we're going to make this life wrong somehow, then doesn't that mean that if that's part of God, there's somehow part of God, or what we call God, that's wrong? Apparently, God doesn't think too clearly. Oops. The infinite mind, the omniscient, all-knowing one, apparently is also deluded. Not diluted, deluded. This is our teaching symbol. For those of you who have not seen it before and are looking at going, what does the V stand for? It is not visitors. We're not waiting for the mothership. We just get that out of the way right first. This is how we think about God. The top part is God as spirit, God as pure mental ideas, absolutes, absolute beauty, absolute good, absolute joy. This bottom part is the physical world. And this, it's really hard to make a physical representation of a verb, but this is the act of creation. And so an idea happens in the mind of God, that maybe it's joy or beauty or peace. And that idea moves through the act of creation. It is moved into form. So say I have an idea of love. It comes down into my physical world as a kitten. Aww. So down here at the level of effect, if this is cause, this is effect, down here at the physical world, I get to have experiences. And I learn all about sharp little kitten claws. And I learn all about don't move their food bowl or they're going to move their litter box right onto your pillow. And I'm going to learn about purring, and I'm going to learn about snuggles and being greeted at the door. And I'm going to have all these experiences at the physical level. And I am going to learn something new about love. And as I process these experiences, the good and the bad, I get a whole new idea about love. So what do? Don't say get another kitten. I did, but I got two. There's a little hook that you can barely see on that. And what happens is you learn something, you gain some wisdom, and now you, as like a reflection of the divine, have a new idea about love, and now you go out and test drive that idea by bringing that down into your experience. And on and on and on it goes. So, as I have said before, the most important part of this is the circle. It's all divine. We are very good here in America at taking the things that we are taught as spiritual principles and then beating ourselves over the head with them because we can't live up to the ideal. Sharon Salzberg, who is a great New Thought writer, was part of a group that got to meet the Dalai Lama when he first came to America. And as I understand it, she was the person that warned him that Americans are crazy and a little bit masochistic. And he was shocked to find out that he had to be careful what he taught because we were going to take it, this was the belief at the time, I'm not claiming it for you, the belief was that we would take it and turn it into a competition. Yeah, everybody in this room is going like this, and I have a willingness to believe that somewhere in time there's someone looking at a computer screen going, oh my God, yes. How many people here have bought self-help books in order to become a better person? A whole new you, because the old one apparently didn't work. This isn't, well, it is kind of like Amazon. You keep trying on things and sending them back until you get the one that works for you, right? But we have to remember that just because we as humans are not seeing this as perfect yet, it doesn't mean it's less God. It's God 2.0. It's beta testing. That's what we're doing here. Ernest Holmes wrote something. He wrote, "Form is not an illusion even when it's the form of disease. It then represents a false conclusion, but it's as real as it's supposed to be." Matter, form, little r reality, is as real as we need it to be in order to get the experience and play around at this level. We are divine Play-Doh. And you know what you do when you're done making something out of Play-Doh? You smush it, and you make something else out of our divine Play-Doh. When he first started studying, when he first went out into the world to learn about humanity and suffering and why it is that we get sick and grow old, he worked with a lot of ascetics. And what that means is he did not bathe, he did not eat, he would literally starve himself. He refused to own anything. The early Buddhists were supposed to only wear robes made out of rags. And he got into it for a while, and then he had, before the Great Awakening, he had this little awakening of, what am I doing? Yuck! I'm just creating more suffering. And so what he did was find the middle path. I'm not so completely attached to this world, but I'm also not dissing it on a regular basis. I have it, I'm among it, I don't require any particular form of it. So what he did was find a way to be in the world as an experiment. He found a way to enter into form and then pop it back up and just let it be something that he tried out. The thing with form, and this is why we sometimes have trouble, is that spirit takes on form and then abandons that form to take on a new form. Have you ever had spirit abandon a form before you were done with it? It's like mom took away the Play-Doh. We get attached to the form we've created. It's good stuff and it's bad stuff. And so it seems to me that if there is not really separation, if it's really all one, how do we live as if we believe that? The way I write my talks, the way I do this particular part of my job, is that I'll go look at what the topic is, and I'll start noodling around on it, and I'll get a couple quotes, and I'll get a couple ideas. And then I go out into the world and see what Spirit wants to say. So I was meeting up with one of somebody that most of you guys know, Celia. I was meeting up with her and her friend Bradley before we went and did something else. And the three of us got into this conversation about how to live in gratitude, how to live appreciating this world and this life. And what Bradley said he was working on, which to me is the opposite of thinking this is all an apology, is saying a great big yes to what is. Yes, I am in a physical body. Yes, I have to feed it every so often. Yes, I have to give it sleep. Yes, I get to stumble around in this playground called the world and learn how to play these games of manifestation, of relationship, of how to work with money, of how to do spiritual mind treatment. It's all a great big experiment or game. And if we can say yes to what is, we're in a much better position to appreciate it. Yes, this is what is right now. Let's look at that. Let's see what's good about it. Now, if you're wondering if you are, it's a continuum, guys. It's not an on or off switch. This is not a competition, remember? All the way over here is a complete and heartfelt, unqualified yes to what is. And all the way over here is, oh dear God, don't let her call on me because then I'll have to say something intelligent. And we all know I can't. I live in a mortal coil and I can't wait to get out of it. Somewhere in here, I would say most of us live with the stuff of our lives. And we go back and forth. And this is how I know we do that with the Centers for Spiritual Living. Because sometimes it seems like this is the best kept secret in this town. Because as I have said before, the Centers for Spiritual Living are kind of like, back in the 80s, the gay bars. That's what we are spiritually. Only the people who already know about it know how to get here. Or that they exist. So how many of us talk about our spirituality openly and in public? Yay! I tell you, I found a little furniture store in town, and it's like Jack's Furniture Shack or something. And I went in there and I happened to see the 4 agreements posted on, like, kind of down underneath the register. And I went, ooh, Don. Don Luis or whatever his name, Michael Ruiz. No, that's not right. Miguel. Michael Miguel, same difference. Ándale pues. And so we started talking about that, and she started teaching me all about the law of attraction. And I was thinking, she told me her story and about how she kept trying to die of cancer and then deciding, never mind, I think I'll stay here. So at the end of it, I got all my courage together and said, hi, I'm Reverend Kathleen. Have you ever even heard of the Center for Spiritual Living? Because that's what we do. We do it as a group. We play this as a group game. And she's like, yeah, I think I've heard of it. Maybe. Really? This is not an exclusive social club. And so I would ask you this week to think about who in your life knows you attend this place? Who in your life do you feel comfortable living an honest life with? If this place serves you, if this has been good for you, if it has, as Kay said earlier, changed your life for the better, is there anyone out there in the world that you kind of like and think might deserve to be a little happier? It's not like they even have to take off their jammies. They can do this online, where they can have their opinion loud and proud about that weird Reverend Kathleen or the other people who have YouTube channels. Oh, they're all crazy. I don't have to go there. But do you know that since we started being more out in the world in the sense of being online, we went from about 30 people looking at the newsletter to 200 people looking at the newsletter. I'm somewhat embarrassed to admit it's the first time I've ever read the whole thing. There were people who clicked on the videos, and there were 3 people who went to the donate button. And that's just how they did it. As we become more open, as we are more willing to be seen, and in the 21st century, in part that means being online. In this town, it means talking to all of the people we meet about, you don't have to be miserable. You can create better. I can see that you're suffering. I can see you're having a hard time. This is what works for me. And if it works for you, and it's been good in your life, why would you keep it to yourself? We are not misers. As we give, so do we receive. Freely have you received, freely give. We are not an apology. We are not a mistake. And we are not separate from God in any way. And because that is the truth, we go to prayer. Because prayer is the best way I know of getting that. Or as Robert Heinlein would say, grokking that. Understanding it at a gut level, feeling it, knowing it, living from it. So if you would like to experience that, I ask you to join me in prayer now. You can do this online. It'll work. Believe me, there's no expiration dates. Our prayers are like Twinkies. They just keep on going. And so I ask you now to join me in this consciousness, simply a way of thinking about the world. And because it is a deep, deep truth, it is the eternal beingness that shows up in all the different faiths, all across time. It is this beingness that lives within us that is our life. It is this beingness that supports its own expression by becoming in the world, by continually evolving through our personal experiences and as the world experience. There is one power, one presence that is the universe, and I believe in that and absolutely nothing else. There is no second power that is out to get us. There is only God, there is only good, there is only love. And standing in the midst of this light and truth and love, I see us now for who we are. And I speak my word on behalf of all sentient beings, knowing that this love is in form as all of us, that love is the truth between all beings. And so in this moment, I let go of that horrible fear, that horrible lie that says we are separate somehow, that we are unloved. I let go of that and stand in the light of truth, knowing myself to be one with the divine, knowing that all of us are one with the divine, and this creation is good and very good, that this too is heaven, and that as we live the honest life, as we tell the truth about who we are and how powerful that being within us is, we create the world that works for everyone. And so I call it forth into our experience now, in more obvious ways, in more physical ways, so that we may stand witness to it all. I'm so grateful that Spirit does this work, that the law has already swung into action in order to take my words and move them into form. I'm so grateful that this is simply what is. And I say yes to it and let it be. And together we affirm, and so it is. This is the time when we give to support the continued work that we do here. And so I'll ask you to take your gift and hold it over your heart, whether it's an envelope or a check or something that says you give online. If you are watching this online right now, you are invited to go to our webpage, or which should be linked through our Facebook page, and donate and participate in this as well. As we say the dedication of the offering, divine love in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, life, and thank you, Steffi, for coming back up.
Thank you again for having me here. Feels really good to be here today. When Jackson asked me to come, he said that I should find songs that are about light and love and happiness. And I was going through my original repertoire, and I was like, it's been a while since I wrote something like that, and I need it right now. So I wrote this. I just finished it before I came today. So I'll send this out to all of you. I gotta tune up, I'm sorry. light in me needs the light in you, so I can let my colors shine through your water and your wine. I just need a little bit, and I gotta get my pilot lit so I can be all you see in me. Oh, say it in Sanskrit, say it in prose, say you still see the love in me, light it up so everybody knows. Ooh, la 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 la, oh la 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 la, oh la 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 me. When the light in you starts to fade from view, don't be afraid, I see you, babe. Oh, we are living proof that it takes just a little bit, a little spark to make you glow again, so let it shine, this little light of mine. Oh, say it in Sanskrit, say it in prose, say you still see the love in me, light it up so everybody knows. Love is everywhere, in every move and every stare. It's with the monsters under your bed, it's in the doubts creeping in your head. Ooh, la 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 la, oh la 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 la, oh la 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 la, mine. Oh, the love in me is from the love inside of you, so let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Wow. The amazing thing for me is that just before we came out here, I was watching Jackson scribble down Roman numerals. And apparently it was that song. He's just going 5, 7, 12, 2. And all of a sudden, it's a song. And he used both hands. So it's just the two of them are able to speak music to each other. And how beautiful is that? We have some really talented people in this town. I would love to welcome our guests and visitors today. If you are here for the first time, we have a packet of information for you, and we'd love to gift you with a book from our used bookstore. This part is optional. We'd also love it if you would stand up and just tell us your name and where you're from. If you are willing to do that, please do so now. Oh, cool. Wow, very cool. Thanks for joining us. Yay! Wonderful, thank you. Do we have short people? Yes, yay. Really adorable short people. By the way, if you go out by the Children's Association of Awesomeness, their classroom, you will see that there is a box for Seamus, and you can put questions in it. And as of yet, no one has. So how about we get on that for his sake? He's not going to believe it if I put them in there. Oh, hi, Seamus. Come on in. Thank you. Yours matches your shirt. Aw, thank you. It says God is love on the outside, and on the inside it says, and you are love. Yeah, that's what I said. Aw.
Well, mine is blue.
Yes, it is.
It's got some purple in it as well. It says, your music is the color of love.
Aw.
And I was like, right. But then I opened it. And then it even went higher than that. And yes, the last word, the last letter of this sentence is a Z, ladies and gentlemen. It says, you have great piano skills.
Yay, thank you. Do it the shimmy. By the Seamus shimmy. That helps. So, what is it you need to share with us, Seamus, other than all this love?
I don't know.
That is a perfectly adequate answer.
We talked about the colors of love.
Yes. All righty. Anything else you guys want to say? Or are we good to go? Because I think this pretty much did it, yeah? That was pretty
We
much
had a good discussion.
good. So at this time, I'm going to ask everybody to stand up. We do our benediction, which is up on the screen, and then we sing the peace song to sing our way out. I will remind you that we take conversations out into Sibley Hall, in part because that's where the food is, and in part so that this can be left quiet for those who are going to pray. Guys? Something wonderful is happening right now. I believe it. I feel it. I